find your friends. We're so glad that you can join us today. My name is Miss Renee, and this is Evan, and we are from Nativity Lutheran in St. Anthony, Minnesota. And today, we are in our music room celebrating the really fun Bible story we read this week. We learned a brand new song that goes along with it. So we're going to teach you the first part of the song, and then we'll share with you the Bible story. But if you look around, there's clues. You might be able to guess which story it was.
Yeah, and you remember Squiggles plot?
Yeah, and we'll look for squiggles. So our brand new song goes, "My God is the King of the Giants." Because if you remember last week, we read the story of David and the big giant problem named Goliath. Woo!
I love Goliath. He's so big. He goes so big, like this.
That's right. He was a very tall giant. This week, we are going to read the story. Have you guessed it yet? Of Daniel in the lion's den. So the next part of the song says, "My God's the King of the lions." And then, in a few weeks, we're going to read the story of Jonah and the whale. So the next line goes, "My God's the King of the creatures of the deep. My God's the King of me." Because we know that God is the King of me and you and everyone, including all of the animals of the earth and the whole earth. All right, Evan, let's sit down. So let's sing that all together. My God's the King of the giants. My God's the King of the lions. My God's the King of the creatures of the deep. My God's the King of me. Like I said, this week, we have been having fun reading in our Spark Story Bible the story of Daniel in the lion's den. We open up to page 174. We find our friend Daniel is right here, and he was really good friends with the king, who's right here. And Daniel really had lots of wise advice to give to the king. So the king really liked him a lot. They were really good friends. Now these people over here were really sneaky because they were jealous. They thought that the king should like them best. And so they came up with a plan. Now look at our friend Squiggles. Evan, can you find him? Squiggles is the caterpillar that shows up in our Spark Story Bible to help us know how people are feeling. Can you guys find Squiggles?
Yes.
He looks concerned because this plan doesn't work out so well for Daniel. Now these sneaky people wanted to get Daniel into trouble so that they could go back to being the king's favorite. So they said, "We know Daniel loves to pray and loves God, and we should make up a rule that says people can't love anything more than the king. And if they show any signs of loving anything more than the king, they're going to get in big trouble." And they wrote this rule in such a sneaky way that the king said, "Well, yeah, everybody should love me the best. I think it's a great rule." And he signed it. And when the sneaky friends discovered that Daniel was showing more love for God than the king, they said, "Aha!" Everyone, can you say aha?
Aha!
We can get Daniel into trouble and throw him into the lion's den. Whoa. Now that seems like a really silly punishment to me, but that's what they did back then. And since the king agreed to the rule, and since they could prove that Daniel loved God more than the king, there's our buddy Daniel, stuck down in the lion's den. Can you find Squiggles again? Squiggles doesn't look too happy about it, does he, Evan? Can you find him? No. Since Daniel loved God most, he sent angels to protect Daniel while he was in the lion's den. And the next morning when they came to check, the king discovered that Daniel was just fine and he was so happy. Evan, can you find Squiggles? Does Squiggles look happy? Yeah. Sit down, buddy.
And Daniel was happy too.
Yeah. And so the story teaches us that we believe that God is the king of me and you, when we pray, pray, it doesn't always mean that God is going to keep us away from trouble. It just means that God is going to be there with us during the trouble. And he'll give us strength and courage, and sometimes he even sends angels to protect us. And that's a wonderful thing to love the most, just like Daniel. What do you think, Evan?
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful. We would like to sing that song again with you, and this time we're going to play some instruments. Evan is going to play the cajon. It's a box drum that you bang with either your hands or your feet. Can you bang it, Evan? Yeah! And I'm going to play my handy dandy guitar. So let's sing that song again, and I am going to add some verses about our friend David that we learned about last week and our friend Daniel that we learned about this week. All right, are you ready to sing it again? And I hope that you find ways all throughout the week to let God know that He's the King of you, and that you trust when you pray to Him that He will be there with you through anything. Have a great week, friends. Bye.
I want to